What's up, guys? I'm Mike from StockedUp, and welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. We had a pretty strong recovery in the market today, with the Dow being up 440 points. The S&P 500 had a pretty good day, and the NASDAQ did too. So we have a lot to go over in this episode. We had some relatively important news, and we saw a lot of good price action in a lot of different stocks today. So make sure you stick around to the end of this episode to see all of the plays that we're watching for the rest of this week, as well as a $3.8 million call option that we are watching that expires this Friday. So there's a lot of good price action in the market today and some pretty important news. So make sure you stick around for the whole episode. If you guys are new here, don't forget to subscribe to see our daily videos on your YouTube homepage every single day. But let's get right into it. So Tom, what major news happened in the stock market today?
Yeah, the biggest news was really that the market actually recovered after 3 days of selling. And we can look on the QQQ or the NASDAQ here that, we had 3 really harsh days of selling, just, big like jackknives down. And, you don't like to see that whenever you're trading the stock market. But it seems like, today and after hours and pre-market, yesterday and today, the market just overall just came right back up. And that's something that we like to see. But just keep in mind that after 3 days of harsh selling like that, it's kind of expected to have a green day like this. So, I'm really looking for another pop back up tomorrow, but it's just one of those times where we're really looking for, like the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 to kind of hold these levels that they're at. If they can't hold these levels, then it's almost like, we would be looking at stocks to fall, maybe another 5 to 10% then.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the next couple days and even like I would say early next week is going to be very important. The market, like you said, had a pretty big fall last week and yesterday, and we had a pretty big fall. So if stocks cannot hold these levels, then that will not be a good sign. So it's pretty important. We have a very influential week for the rest of this week and early next week to see if stocks can hold these levels. Because if they can't, like I said, it's not going to be a good sign, and that can indicate that stocks can fall a lot more. So what other major news happened?
Yeah, and really at the end of the day today, I mean, I know that overall today, we were up pretty significantly, but at the end of the day, we can look on stocks like Microsoft, the SPY, and the QQQ. Pretty much every major stock ended up falling off at the end of the day. We can see that Microsoft had about 2 red candles on the 15-minute chart. So really for the last 30 minutes of the day, the market sold off. And this was actually on news with the TikTok and the U.S. government deal right now. TikTok's Chinese parent company, ByteDance Limited, is discussing with the U.S. government possible arrangements that would allow the popular video sharing app to avoid a full sale of its U.S. operations, according to people familiar with the matter. And keep in mind, this is all from the Wall Street Journal, by the way. And they said that discussions around such an option that have been underway for months have assumed increased urgency since the Chinese government took steps to make the sale more difficult. These discussions that took place against a fast approaching deadline that President Trump imposed for TikTok to agree to a sale of its U.S. operations, or else it will be shut down. And as a geopolitical wrangling over the app intensifies. But just keep in mind that pretty much it's just that TikTok, they're trying to actually get out of having to sell their company, to a U.S. company, and then be controlled at least through their U.S. operations controlled by a U.S. company. Anyways, it's kind of a a weird thing that they're doing right now, and there's a lot of speculation around it. But just keep in mind that they're trying to get out of having to fully sell their company.
Yeah, so President Trump made an announcement I think it was like a month ago about how TikTok had to sell its U.S. operations to a U.S. company or they're getting banned, right? And they have like 45 days or something like that where there's the deadline, right? And we're quickly approaching that deadline, and TikTok doesn't really want to sell its U.S. operations to a U.S. company. They're trying to, they really don't want that to happen. So that news came out today about them trying to find like an alternative way to still operate in the U.S. without being controlled by a U.S. company. So that news was apparently the market did not like that news. So that's why we turned around and went red for like the last 30 minutes of the market. I'm sure a lot of you guys saw this. It's like almost the exact last 30 minutes of the market. Pretty much the entire market kind of just fell over. So overall, we will be watching this for the rest of this week. And Tom, what stocks we're looking to get into or looking to buy TikTok?
Yeah, that was actually going to be Oracle, which is ORCL, and they kind of tanked off at the end of the day. And then Microsoft, MSFT, and then Walmart even had talked about it too, but really it was Microsoft and Oracle.
For sure. All right. Well, thank you for sharing that. Was there any other major news for the day?
I mean, not really too much major news. The only other thing I had was that really NKLA, we kind of expected them to have a decent run up today, but they really fell off after that news with GM. I know that they're still up overall from the lows. They're still up about 20% from where they were before that news came out, but I kind of expected them to run up a little bit more than they did. General Motors obviously didn't fall quite as bad as Nikola did, but really I kind of expected Nikola to kind of come back up, but I'm still bullish on Nikola. Is that was still a pretty good deal in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to definitely benefit both companies for the long term, but NKLA had a really bad day today. I mean, 15%, that's huge. So,
yeah, the only thing was that they did go up 40% the other day, but still, that's a pretty big decline.
True. Yep. And then now for today's Discord member of the day. So today's Discord member of the day is Angel Fresh 89. So huge shout out to Angel for always providing great information in the Stocked Up Discord chat. Always just sharing great information and positive vibes, and of course making great trades with the bot recently. So huge shout out to Angel for all the positivity and great vibes. So now for today's momentum plays for tomorrow, and the first play is NKLA. So we were just talking about this one, but we are eyeing NKLA to the downside. They were down about 15%, actually over 15%. So what levels should we be watching for tomorrow?
Yeah, I would really watch for them to break below $42 even. I really think that would be a solid level for them, and it seems like they might do it in pre-market or after hours.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they even hit even the $42 level acted as a huge support level yesterday, right when the market opened. You could see it's kind of bounced right off that level, and we're sitting at $42 right now. So if we see NKLA break below that level, we will consider puts. With the next play, we have Zoom, ZM, and this one is to the upside.
Yeah, for this one, watch for them to go ahead and break above 395.
All right, again to the upside. And then last but not least, we have DKNG, and this is also to the upside.
Yeah, watch for them to break above $41.
All right, again to the upside. And now for today's unusual options activity. So today's unusual options activity are the ZM 420 strike call options that expire this Friday, September 11th. So there's about $3.8 million put into this play. Seeing ZM up over 11% is definitely a good sign. I can definitely see this play. I can definitely see ZM exploding upwards. But the only thing that kind of worries me is that these options are about 30 strikes out of the money, and it's kind of far considering that there's only 2 days left of time left into this play. So I don't know, I can definitely see ZM continuing up, but at the same time, I don't know if someone would really drop $3.8 million into a play that expires in 2 days, and that's $30 out of the money. I mean, I'm kind of neutral on this. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm pretty neutral too. It looks like that $420 level would actually act as a pretty good resistance. We can see that, it's bounced off of that level a few times as well. So that's kind of interesting that they would pick that level specifically. Yeah, like you said, I would honestly kind of, sway towards that they might be shorting these calls because, like you said, as long as it doesn't close below or as long as it doesn't close above 420, then, I mean, then they'd be good if they're shorting it. So, I think that that's what they're doing. But really, I think that if the market goes up tomorrow, I think that Zoom will definitely, fly up, like you said as well.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see, and who knows? They might, they might be holding shares of ZM, and they're looking to sell covered calls on this. There's no way for us to know, but that's definitely an option, and I definitely would not leave that out because if they have shares at $200, and they're selling covered calls at 420, it's a total win-win. So we'll definitely have our eyes on ZM, but It has a lot of potential. I'm just not sure if, they're longing options that are 30 strikes out of the money and it expires in 2 days.
Yeah,
So
on a daily chart, I mean, I would have to think that it would go up tomorrow just based off of what I'm looking at. I kind of like this setup, how we had the gap up and then we pretty much filled the whole gap back down and now we're kind of, popping back up. And sometimes, you see this whenever stocks are in, bullish trends.
yeah, for sure. So now for the comments from the previous episode, and we have Benawal saying, guys, please do analysis on Amazon. When is a good buying opportunity? So Tom, I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, I actually have Amazon in a good technical right now, and it looks like they bounced right off of this trend line, and then they started popping back up. But really, I mean, I know Amazon's one of those like really solid companies, and they do really well fundamentally and everything like that. But it's just another one of those things where I'd have to think that eventually they'd have to come back down, or eventually split. I think that they'd have to do one or the other eventually. But really, I would wait for that to get in for the long term. But as far as the short term goes, they've been pretty bullish over the past day. As long as, the QQQ and the overall tech sector keeps up, then I think Amazon will keep up as well. But really, Amazon's just a killer. They're a powerhouse, and it's really hard, to go against them at all.
Yeah, for sure. If you're considering to buy Amazon for the long term, there's no way to tell like a perfect time to buy for the long term. But the best thing to do, in my opinion, is to just dollar cost average, which is pretty much just buy one share a month or one share a quarter or whatever is in your budget, and just buy it slowly over time. You're never going to be able to pick the exact top or ever or the bottom either. So the best thing is if you like them for the long term and you plan on holding for multiple years, I think the best thing to do is to just buy in slowly over time. You'll get a good average price, and then if any major market fluctuations happen, it won't affect you too much as long as you're just slowly getting in over time. So
Yeah, my only biggest problem with Amazon for the long term is if the government does start enacting some type of, online taxes against them like they've been talking about. I think that could, bring them down at least in the short term, but they have not been talking about that lately at all. But I know that that's definitely in the minds of a lot of, politicians in the government.
or even the what's it called, the monopoly,
Yeah. Yeah, they've monopolized their business like pretty heavily. I mean, I'm surprised that they haven't had any regulations against them for that yet.
I know it's surprising, but I don't think that'll like take them down or anything. It might be just like a small like I don't know, like a small bump in the road, but
It
I don't.
reminds me of like the 1800s with U.S. Steel and Andrew Carnegie running that company.
Oh yeah. All right. With the next comment, we have Joseph saying SPCE for life. LOL. So Tom, what happened with SPCE today?
Yeah, I mean, SPCE was pretty nice. They kind of popped up early in the morning, but then they actually tanked off. But the good news about this is that SPCE actually hit my trend line. So that's showing me that this is actually an active trend line still. And if we go back to a 5-year daily chart here, you can see that SPCE bounced off of this line multiple times. And now it's kind of bouncing off of it. And I'm actually almost looking for SPCE, to the downside now. I know that it's not what a lot of people would want to hear, but whenever you see stocks bouncing off of trend lines the way the SPCE has, I mean, until it breaks this trend line back to the upside, I'm going to be totally bearish on this stock, and it's trying to ride this 100 SMA right here. You can see it bounced off of it about twice today, and really, I think if it falls below that tomorrow, we could free fall back down, to 1650 or even lower than that, especially with the volatility that this stock has. I mean, we were at $14.86 just the other day, and now we're all the way back up to $18 again.
Yeah. So pretty much what you're saying is until it breaks above that trend line, you're bearish.
Yeah, I'll be bearish until it breaks this trend. And really, like at open today, you can see that the volume really brought it up, and it just bounced right off of that trend line and then fell right down. And I've had this trend line on my chart for a few months now, and I was trying to play SPCE whenever it bounced on the trend line the last time, looking for it to go back up on around August 17th, but that did not happen, and it ended up falling below. So then I was bearish again, and once again now today we've touched the trend line again. So yeah, I'll definitely be bearish until it can break this trend. But other than that trend, a good support or resistance that I like is the $20 mark as well.
All right, so can you zoom out to let everyone see a good view of what this trend line looks like? So that's what the trend line looks like, guys. Feel free to copy this on your charts. With the next comment, we have Dude saying subscriber and Discord member. What are your thoughts on T? So T is doing okay. They're not really doing anything right now. They're not really going up or down. They've been in this, I would say, this $29 to $30.25 range since the middle of June. So they really haven't been doing anything. For T, they do pay amazing dividends. However, that's really about it. You know, sometimes if you get in at a great price, you can also get those solid capital gains. But T is really known for being a dividend stock. They pay great dividends, but I only like them if you could get them at a great price. So, you know, if you could get some at a really low price, I think it could be a great investment. They're a solid company, but they're really just not moving, and they're really not a good stock to trade for the short term, at least right now. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm actually looking for them for the long term myself, and I'm looking at them because of their 5G capabilities. I think that whenever we start actually rolling out a bunch of these new 5G technologies, I think that a lot of these companies like T and VZ, which is Verizon, and I think that those companies and T-Mobile will all obviously go up and benefit greatly from the 5G system rolling out, especially AT&T though, because obviously like Verizon and T-Mobile, I believe Verizon's $60 a share. T-Mobile's all the way up to 120, but really T has not been performing well over the past few years. And I think that that has a lot to do with them trying to integrate a lot of those 5G capabilities into their company. But yeah, I think for the long term that this would be a great company to buy. But like you said, you just have to get in at a low price.
For sure. So thank you for sharing that. Do you have any last minute stocks, options, or any other insight for the market tomorrow?
Yeah, my big insight for tomorrow is going to be the chip stocks. I've actually been looking at these stocks like Micron, which is MU, and also Qualcomm, which is QCOM. They both are kind of bouncing off of a trend line that I have right now. And Qualcomm, we can see it's bouncing right off of this trend line. And then we kind of went down at the end of the day today on that TikTok news. But look at how Qualcomm started going down in the middle of the day before that news came out. And they really kind of bounced off of these trends. So honestly, I'm looking for these stocks to kind of bounce back down a little bit tomorrow. So if I see, Qualcomm fall below, let's just say like $112.25, then I think, Qualcomm could be great for puts tomorrow. But if Qualcomm pops above their high of today of 115.80, then I think Qualcomm calls could be good tomorrow also if the market goes up, because if the market goes up, it'll probably drag these technology stocks back up with it.
For sure. So thank you for sharing that. And thank you guys so much for watching this video to the end. Tom and I really appreciate all the support by the forum of hitting that like button, commenting down below, and subscribing. Thank you guys so much for all the support. We really appreciate it. All comments down below really help grow the channel, and especially hitting that like button too. So thank you guys so much for all the support. We really appreciate it. If you guys want to try out the new options day trading bot, you can click the Stocked Up Options Alerts link in the description down below. And if you guys have any questions, let us know in the comments down below. Other than that, thanks for watching.